Alright, before we get started, this is a massive spoiler warning for Sasuke 40. If you didn't watch Sasuke 40, come back after you watched it. Click the link in my description to find a way to watch Sasuke 40, and then come back and watch this review. Save yourselves. Okay, you've been warned. Let's do it. So Sasuke 40 has come out, and it was an experience, to say the least, but what kind of experience? Let's start off with the obvious. The course did not change at all from Sasuke 39. That is bad. The lineup was amazing. Amazing. So, really bad thing, really good thing, cancels out. So really it comes down to the results and how these results are edited. Now, I think I speak on everyone's behalf when I say that these results were amazing. There is no way to think that these results were bad. There were so many highlights. You had 3 women on stage 1. You had Kane and Shingo break the record for the oldest people to clear stage 1. You almost had the youngest clear on stage 1. A lot of the all-stars and even the celebrities performed a lot better than I expected. You had Matsuda's retirement. You had a lot of comebacks from Tomo, Yuji. You had some shock fails from people like Sugera and Ryo. It's crazy. Kajihara beasted stage 1. Like, there were so many highlights, and that's just on stage 1 alone. So I get it. I understand. You can't fit everything into 5 hours. It's not realistic. Between the celebrities, the Black Tigers, the All-Stars, the Shinserai, the Morimoto Serai, the internationals, the women, the idols, you name it. You can't fit them all. So Inui definitely gets some slack from me. I'm going to give him a little bit of leeway, but I do have an argument against that. I see every Sasuke tournament as a story, or at least a chapter in a larger story, and that's no exception here. There were so many different storylines and so many different standouts that should have been standouts in this tournament. And again, I get it. You cannot show everybody all the time. It just was unrealistic given that you had 5 hours to do all 4 stages and the success was that high. However, let's put it into the terms of superhero movies. You know, you have your Avengers movies, you have your standouts. You have Iron Man, Captain America, Thor, and then in the background you have the people who are there. They don't do as much, but they still serve a bit of a purpose. You know, your Hawkeyes, your Black Widows in certain movies, your Ant-Mans. You know, that they're the role players, but they're not the standouts. And that's fine, because at the end of the day, you have your focus and you have your supporting cast. Inui edited everybody like Hawkeye. There were no Iron Mans. There were no standouts. Almost every single person who made it to the 3rd stage was digested at one point, and all 3 finalists were digested at one point. The people who were shown all of their runs were mostly the people who went out on stage 2. And while it was nice to see Kane-Kosugi and Shingo Yamamoto on stage 2, believe me, I was so happy. I cried when Shingo cleared. To me, it just felt like all of the storylines that Inui committed to were gone halfway through the tournament. And so because of that, I felt every other storyline, every other standout person, every other person setting a personal best, making a comeback, getting to the final for the X time in a row or whatever, it was half-assed. I felt like I was watching half of a Sasuke tournament, if you understand what I mean. And so I can't give it as much slack. Yes, there were a lot of things to fit in there. However, it is still a Sasuke tournament, and I'm still going to hold it to the same standards as every other tournament. Let's look at Matt Armitage from Ninja Warrior UK. For those of you who don't know, he was an amputee who ran the course on Race for Glory against Robert Bandos, a top Polish ninja. Now, Matt Armitage ended up making it up the warped wall. The whole clip went relatively viral. It was a really, really good moment. He still lost the race and he was still eliminated. That is not to say that Matt's achievement was bad. I'm not saying that at all. But at the same time, he was playing by the rules of the game, and the game stated that he lost. That's all I'm saying. And so when it comes to Sasuke 40, I'm not going to say that it's bad, because I don't think this was a bad tournament. However, it is another Sasuke tournament. There are standards that I hold that this tournament did not meet. And yes, it had an excuse to some extent, but I think past a certain point, the excuses stop. You had a historic 3 women on stage 1 at once. And I understand, again, you can't show everybody. But you basically did nothing with it. You had Keitaro make it to the pipe slider, which you showed, but your profile was, he failed the Sidewinder last time, let's see how he does, and then it cuts to him immediately past the Sidewinder. Did Tada kill Inui's dog or something like that? Because dude didn't even get any spotlight and made the final stage and had the 3rd best result of the tournament. I don't get it. Jun Sato came back from an injury. They did a whole video about him on YouTube and they did nothing. Literally fast forwarded him every single time. I'm not saying that they are obligated to show every single person they promote. That's, again, unrealistic. But by the time I got to the final stage and we had Yoshiyuki, Tada, and Yusuke all on the final stage, to me, it felt unsatisfying. When you think about the greater picture of Sasuke, yes, that is a great 3 finalists. When you think about how they were treated in this tournament, it felt like, oh, these are the guys who just, they happened to make it here. That's how it felt. I've watched this twice. The first time I watched it, I was all emotion, all enjoyment, because again, the results are amazing. There's nothing you can say to disagree with that. They were awesome. When I get to watch the Paravi, which shows all of the runs in its full glory, I'm probably going to love it, and it'll probably be in my top 5 of all time. But when we're talking about the TBS broadcast, stages 2 and 3 were really rough. And it does go back to how much time was spent on stage 1. Let's think about it this way. A common complaint with Masato Inui's editing is that he focuses too much on a lot of his favorites and celebrities. What did he do in stage 1 of 40? Exactly that. And while some of his favorites to edit, Tomo and Ayano specifically, definitely deserve their edits this tournament, we lost a lot of time on celebrities who did not do well. I'm fine seeing the Akiyama impersonator get the crabs from Akiyama, but I do think that that portion went on too long and you could have shown someone else in the meantime. And when I watched it the second time, which is more so to make sure that I'm not blinded by nostalgia and excitement, I noticed a lot more things in stage 1 where certain runs could have been shortened or digested in exchange for more people being shown that do well. Again, I'm not saying that they absolutely have to, but I am saying that no one really felt like a standout in this. All of the people we got excited about were gone when stage 3 rolled around, and all of the people who were on stage 3 or beyond did not get the love that they deserved. At the end of the day, I had it pretty low because of the editing. I'm going to give it a 6.5 out of 10. Results alone, 10 out of 10. Editing knocks it down a lot. A lot of people are going to disagree with me right now. I do think that a couple months from now, it won't be as good as you guys remember. It'll still be a good tournament. This was still a passable / decent tournament. But a lot of people were DMing me saying, this is the greatest tournament of all time. It's not. This is the greatest Inui tournament of all time. It's not. This is the greatest stage 1 of all time. It's definitely not. All time, I have it in my top 20, top half. Still good. Inui tournaments wise, it's in my top 5, maybe top 3, but Sasuke 36 to me is still the best Inui tournament. And in terms of stage 1s, it was better than 39s. It was a good stage 1, definitely not the best stage 1 of all time. I'm all for good results, great moments. Believe me, I am so excited about that. But what is the point of all of these great results if I can't watch them fully? That's why for the TBS cut, I'm giving it a 6.5 out of 10. When I watch the Paravi cut, it's probably going to be a 9 or a 10 because I get to see everything. Some of you guys might agree with me, some of you guys might understand why I'm saying what I'm saying, and some of you guys might totally disagree and say, screw you, Kane, this was the best tournament ever, to which I say, nostalgizers, but I respect your opinion. So those are my thoughts on Sasuke 40. Comment below, did you agree or disagree with my takes? I'd love to have the discussions because I'm not trying to change anyone's minds here. I'm not, like, if you think something different than me, so be it. My opinion is probably not going to change. Definitely not for the better, at least. Typically, a few months into the future, when I rewatch the tournaments, I start to notice more flaws. So I don't typically have tournaments getting better in hindsight, only worse. To me, I don't think Sasuke 40 is going to get worse when I rewatch it. It's already at a 6.5 for me. I don't think it deserves lower than a 6.5. I think that's unfair to the tournament. At the end of the day, Sasuke 40 was a good time, but very, very far from perfect. With that said, how does Sasuke stack up against the other Ninja Warrior shows of the year? Find out on New Year's Eve when I rank every Ninja Warrior show of 2022. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you subscribe. I'll see you next time.